Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video, I'll be talking about a rookie in Jaylin Lane that has impressed the Commanders in general, but specifically Zach Ertz, who has some really good things to say about Jaylin Lane. We'll talk about Zach Ertz and then also some other things in today's video. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button. We're like 8 subscribers away from 15,600. Just hit that like button. It's free, and the subscribe button. It's also free. Helps out a ton. So let's get into it. I think in the intro I might have said Zach Ertz, but obviously meant Zach Ertz. Yeah, he was on the Kay Adams show yesterday and had some good things to say. I mean, the whole interview was pretty good. I mean, whenever you can hear one of your top players, your veteran guys speak, it's good to hear that insight. He talked about a bunch of different things. Talked about Terry. Talked about Jaden Daniels and how he can even improve from an outstanding rookie year. So I think it was worth a watch. But specifically, Kay Adams was talking about Terry McLaurin, and Zach didn't really say much, and that's expected. But after it was a segue into, okay, now that not Zach Ertz, that Terry's out, he's been out for some of the offseason, who's kind of stepped up? And I forgot the first name. The first name he mentioned was Noah Brown. And he said he's one of the better route runners he's been around. But then the next guy he named was Jaylin Lane. So said he's been really excited about Jaylin Lane. He didn't say, give a lot of specifics, but that was the second name he gave was Jaylin Lane, and that he's excited to watch him. And it was either him or Kay that mentioned his maturity and stuff like that. Then he listed some other guys as well after that, but the second name was Jaylin Lane, so this gives an opportunity to talk about him. And Zach Ertz does have a good eye. I mean, he was raving about Jaden Daniels super early last offseason. He kind of knew that they had a good quarterback right away, and I think a lot of people did, but him specifically, like, he was praising him a lot. So for him to mention Jaylin Lane, I think that's good for the Commanders, especially they haven't had a lot of time together. And he mentioned it before, some of the other guys like KJ Osborne, some of the UDFAs, Luke McCaffrey, and Debo, stuff like that. So I mean, he did end up mentioning Luke McCaffrey later on with a couple other guys, but like I said, it was Noah Brown first, which is interesting, and then also Jaylin Lane right there. So Jaylin Lane was, I go to Virginia Tech, so definitely familiar with him, and type of player he is, type of guy he is. Just hearing from everyone, he's a great guy, good leader. Wasn't a captain, I believe, but is a really good guy, and was a really good player for Virginia Tech last year. We know what type, he's a good athlete, 9.7 basically RAS score. The height and weight isn't necessarily amazing. It's not what the prototypical receiver is, but I mean, it's not awful. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty short. And the vertical leap, though, 40-inch vertical leap, broad jump is amazing. 40-yard dash, 4.34 40-yard dash time. You see some of the other stuff. The split is good. The 10-yard split, 20-yard split. The shuttle's really good. I thought it was a 9.7. Shuttle's good. 3 cone's really good. I mean, again, 9.68. I mean, that's 112th out of 3,441 guys. I mean, that is really, really impressive. And then you add on, the type of guy he is, and I think that's really good. He's going to be, a returner for them at minimum, punt returner for them. And we'll see how much he adds as, a specific player. So I'll show you guys a clip from practice today, or not today, sometime early in the off season. Also talk about some other housekeeping stuff that have happened recently. So it's a nice ball, and Jaylin makes the nice catch, and with 84, I forgot who 84 is. Maybe Strachan, not completely sure, but they're excited. Jaylin makes a play. Stats weren't super impressive at Virginia Tech. You see the Middle Tennessee State stuff. Transfers to Virginia Tech. His senior year, first senior year, was pretty good. Redshirt senior year, I guess. 12 games, 41 catches, and 538 yards, 6 touchdowns, and then rushing wise had 51 yards. This past year, Fewer yards receiving, a lot. I mean, not a lot, like 60 fewer, but had 466 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 39 yards a game, and then rushing wise, had 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. So the rushing was a lot better, and had around 10 rushing yards a game. Had 7 fewer yards than the year before and 2 fewer touchdowns. But here's what I'll say: the quarterback situation was abysmal in 2024. You had 3 different quarterbacks, and really none of them played well. Some of them were playing injured. It was not pretty for Virginia Tech and their offense. Their play calling wasn't great. So, I think the 2023 season was, especially the second half when they had Kyron Jones and he was healthy and he was looking good, it looked a lot better. And yeah, Kyron Jones was their quarterback early on, but he did not look the same in his next year. So that's all I'll say for not Kyron Jones, for Jaylin Lane, is that his numbers aren't the best, especially for a guy you're drafting middle of the rounds, like 4th round. But I think it's for a reason. The quarterback situation really bad, and then also the offensive play calling, it wasn't good. And there was a few different guys in this offense that got drafted, and for an offense that was as bad as they were, to have a few guys drafted shows and with not a lot of production, shows kind of how bad the offensive play calling and the quarterback situation were. So I'm excited for Jaylin Lane. He was a really good punt returner for them. 245 yards this past year, and he led the conference in punt returning, and averaged 10.2 yards a return, averaged 15.5 one year at Middle Tennessee State, had a touchdown. I was there for that game. And then kick returning wise, didn't do a lot this year, but at Middle Tennessee, was able to do some kick returning as well, a lot more than he did at Virginia Tech. So, Jaylin Lane, he's a good player. Minimum's going to be good for Virginia Tech as a returner, but you could see him doing a little bit more than that, and starting to slowly get incorporated more and more into the offense. He's a really mature guy. He was in college for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So this is, and he played receiver all 5 years. It's not one of the guys that you're like, all right, it's going to take a little more time than usual for him to develop. No, some of these guys that are switching positions, like Luke McCaffrey, like he played quarterback 2 years in college, so it's a relatively new position for him. But Jaylin Lane has been playing wide receiver for a minute now, played 5 years in college, and really mature guy. I think he'll be ready. Like I said, minimum will be a decent punt returner, hopefully, for them. But we want more than that from Jaylin Lane, and let's see if he can contribute to this offense. You got, Terry, hopefully. You got Debo. You got Noah Brown. Then after that, it's really a question mark. Who's going to be that bona fide 4? Is it going to be Luke McCaffrey? Is it going to be KJ Osborne? Is it going to be Jaylin Lane? I hope it's Jaylin Lane. I hope it's Luke McCaffrey. You want your younger guys to be better, because if your younger guys are better, then your future is better. So, KJ Osborne, if he has a good year, that's fine. It's good for this year. But who would I rather have, let's say, 500 yards this year? Jaylin Lane or KJ Osborne? Obviously, Jaylin Lane. So that's kind of my thoughts on Jaylin Lane. And I do want to talk about some other stuff. So Von Miller, I made my thoughts. I talked about that on the stream yesterday. Shout out to everyone who pulled up. Early on, I was a little bit more, I would say, bullish on his role here. I didn't realize his snap count until like midway through the stream was 33%. So he's going to be more of a situational pass rusher. I think him and Dietrich Wise will be, kind of splitting snaps on one side. Still think he'll be a contributor for them, though. I really like the deal. I mean, I don't know what the money is yet. He had a really efficient season last year if you look at a lot of the stats. So, we'll talk about more. We'll talk about Von Miller more later on this week and stuff off season. But who is it? Bobby Wagner, ranked number 74th on the top 100 list. So getting some respect there. Shout out to Bobby Wagner. Didn't get not drafted, ranked top 10 in the Jeremy Fowler list, but he was an honorable mention. But number 74 on that list, so getting his respect, cool there. And then Trey Amos, still unsigned, but my guess is he gets signed today or tomorrow at the latest. the second round picks, there was a little bit of a delay, but they're starting to get signed right now. And I think the guy right after Trey Amos, or right before, but I think it was right after, directly right after Trey Amos got picked, got signed today. And that makes the numbers a lot easier in terms of, making a deal for Trey Amos. But that is it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, do all that good stuff and let me know your thoughts on the Von Miller signing. Thanks for watching and peace.